The different classical forms of India, like Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, Kathak. A dancer who has already received a good training in one of the classical dances is often able to adapt to a different form of dancing. The question always arises, if you have done Bharatanatyam for a very, very long time, years and years and years, how can you actually adapt to a different style of dancing? I always tell my students, all these forms of dancing is based on Natya Shastra. Their foundation is based on the fundamentals of Natya Shastra. The structure is also based the same way. So once you have learnt Bharatanatyam the right way, you understand the sequences, how the adavus are taught, how the abhinaya is taught, how the repertoires are taught. The same thing applies to the other forms of dancing. You just need to adapt to the style. For example, Bharatanatyam, you have a very straight torso. I always say that it's a very straight jacket kind of a dance, because you cannot move from this window when it comes to your upper body. You have to be straight, but at the same time, you have to be graceful. But when it comes to Mohiniyattam, the torso is still straight, but there's a lot of circular motions. So you can go out and in, and there's the play of the eyebrows. So once you understand these minute details, it is pretty easy to adapt from one dance style to the other. Another favorite dance form is Kathak, and you might see this dance form in many of the Bollywood dances. It is a very graceful dance, and you have a lot of circular motions where you actually go in circles. But then the hands is a very graceful, the eyebrows move this way. So still there is a play of eyebrows, but instead of going up and down, like in Mohiniyattam, you go left and right, like in Kathak. In Kuchipudi, it's a much more graceful dance than Bharatanatyam. But many of the mudras, many of the postures are very much the same. So if you put a little of what the traditional dance teaches you, and if you have a strong foundation in any one classical dance form, I think you can easily adapt to any other classical form dancing that you choose. And Bollywood just then becomes a piece of cake. Because what is Bollywood? It's nothing but an assimilation of all these different forms of dancing. There's a little bit of Kathak, a little bit of hip hop, there's a little bit of other classical dancing like Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam. So a proper training is of the utmost importance for all students, because that's how they can actually do the journey of dance the right way, getting the right guidances, getting the right foundation. I hope this will give you some information about changing your outlook towards the classical forms of Indian dancing and Bollywood. Because if you learn the right way, you do it the right way, and you enjoy, the enjoyment is limitless.
Namah Shivaya.